Hi everyone, this is Triple Valve Metro Camel. Welcome to the YouTube channel and thanks for watching the video today. Okay, this is a video designed for two parts. The first being that a YouTube user asked to see the area between the church and around this area that you see in the camera shot here, a bit more detail, so we'll do that in a minute. And also I can share with you some more scenic ideas that I've put in place in the last couple of days, and I hope you enjoy those as well. Excuse me. Okay, so first up then, this area here, which is really governed by the two level crossings, the one in the foreground there at the top there and the one here in the foreground. Basically I gauged the road between the two level crossings. It was quite straightforward to do. Basically I masked off from post to post of each level crossing from top to bottom, and that was the idea for the road. And then the actual road colour itself, I used grey emulsion paint, the kind you get from a builder's merchant or from any DIY store. The sorts you can use for masonry and also bathroom sort of DIY. I've got gallons of the stuff, courtesy of a work friend, and basically I added a little bit of black paint to the grey, and then I've got this sort of grey, sort of darkish, sort of light grey to dark grey road colour. What I did though, I wasn't quite happy with that colour as it was. Once it was applied, about one or two coats, after it dried, I got a big clump of cotton wool and dipped the cotton wool in some dry coal dust, and then very carefully and quickly scoured the road surface over with that, and you get these little spots of dirt here and there on the road, which are quite pleasing, I think. Well, I like it anyway. The trees themselves, the greenery, the actual vegetation wise in the churchyard here, these trees are mainly Gauge Master, the majority of which is made up of the Gauge Master sea moss trees, which are very, very lovely and very quick and easy to do. How I did these, excuse me, quite simply, I took the sea moss trees as a raw product. When you take it out of the box, it's a natural product, and you've got to obviously apply your own scenery to it. And the easiest way I did it was I got a can of rail match sleeper grind coloured paint, or a similar colour, and sprayed the tree from top to bottom. While it was wet, on a piece of newspaper I took some scatter material, it being Woodland Scenic fine blended turf or coarse turf, and just dusted it over very, very vigorously and generally, and then set the whole thing to dry on a piece of polystyrene packaging, and then normally dry in about, say, 25 minutes. You've got instant trees. Some of my trees here in this shot, the scattered material has dropped off in places, but I like that, because if you look at trees in real life, trees are not uniformly all the same colour everywhere you go. In certain places they differ in colour and texture, in size and shape, and also seasonally as well. So I quite like the idea of those trees being different colours there. So some you've got dark greens, light greens, some you've got really green, some you've got a little bit that sort of appear to be a little bit fallen off. But I like that idea, so there you go. I've also got some apple trees here that I found about a month ago whilst clearing out the spare room. These are Gauge Master. They're in sort of half decent condition. These are from my old layout, by the way, that I managed to recruit into service, and they now live in the churchyard, just waiting for some schoolboy to get off the bus and do a bit of apple scrumping on the way home without getting caught. The stone walling, if I bring this camera around a little bit, hopefully you can see this shot a bit better as well. Come on, tripod, work for me today, come on. Right, there we go. Is that better? Is that better or is it not? Yep, that'll do. Right, the stone walling at the top here. This stone walling I got off eBay. I believe it's Hornby Signal, but I think I got about, I think it was something like £10, and you get loads and loads of it, enough to do quite a large area on your layout. So I got that off eBay. The ruined graveyard there, again, this I had from a long time ago. I picked up from a model shop, and it's one of those wargaming dioramas that I had. So again, that fits quite nicely there, and just really blended it into the scene there. The little wedding party figures, the coach and horses and the bride and groom and the associated figures, these are by Preiser or Prisia, not sure how you say that, from Germany. Again, just painted up a little bit here and there. And they're from my first ever layout, so they're about 20 years old, so they're doing quite well. The actual churchyard itself is made up mainly of woodlands scatter material, and the little duck's pond that's in the middle there, I'm not sure if you can see that. There it is. That was just a circular piece of card cut out, painted green, and then some woodlands realistic water was applied to that. And the little stones you see on there, oops, not sure if I can get that, the little stones there, they're just shingle pebbles from my front garden, again glued into place with PVA, and then given a little brush over with the realistic water to give them a nice wet look. And some Prisia or Preiser ducks and waterfowl were added to the area. So really all I've done with this general area is get the basics in place in terms of where you want your roads to go and where you want the buildings to sit geographically, and then once you've got everything in place, work off that. And I didn't use any books or reference materials in terms of scenic ideas, but I just had a sort of picture in my mind of some scenes that I've seen in real life going on holiday in Cornwall and Devon, and also around the countryside of Essex and Chelmsford and little sleepy villages sort of around there, and what it would look like. So that's my own idea, and I think it looks quite good. But anyway, that's the idea there, that area there. I'm not sure if that's enough material for you to get some ideas off there, Kevin, or just want to look at, but there we go. Some recent ideas as well is I used some wheels, Victorian paving slabs, which I put on here last night, which I think look much better now because we've got an actual paving pathway, level crossing at least up there, so that's an improvement there. Also a bit by the station there, the taxi is, so that's a little bit better. And then just finished off the gap there with a bit of scenic grass. Okay, I'm going to come back in a minute and I'll show you some more ideas. Stay tuned. Okay, hi, welcome back to part 2. I'm going to show you some ideas now that can be used on your Hornby signals. My signals in my layout on Bentley Parker or Hornby. Unfortunately, I'm not that skilled yet to build the ratio signal kits or scratch build my own signals. I know that you look at these layouts in magazines like Railway Modeler and Hornby magazine, and you go onto the exhibition circuit and see fine scale signalling, and it really is amazing. And these are constructed by guys and girls out there that have had years and years and years and years of experience building these things. I haven't, unfortunately. So these are the most convenient signals to buy off the shelf and plant on your layout. But what I want to show you today is how you at home can actually, just with a few little simple painting techniques, can bring these up to scratch. And for example here, I'll show you how it's done. Normally these are all factory white and sort of boring. And what I've done basically, again, by using a reference material book, I've noticed in the pictures that the signal oil lamps behind the actual signal arms themselves were normally black. And I've just simply painted those with a bit of gloss Humbrol matte colour paint, which, as you can see on there. And then the actual deck that the bracket signal sits on, I just painted with some rail match sleeper grime, which brings that up quite nicely and replicates some nice wooden boards on there. And then just gave the handrails a little bit of a lick of a black paint around there as well. And then I just sprayed underneath there a little bit of black to give the impression of soot and grime from the steam locos and the diesels that go underneath there as well. Another interesting thing as well, no matter what type of signalling you've got on your layout, if you run diesels, i.e. DMUs or diesel on your layout, it's always a good little point to where you've got the signals. Always put a little bit of black right next to the signal, i.e. there, and also a bit there, and where are we? Bit there as well. What this does is, in real life, where diesels are waiting at signals to proceed and they're ticking over, they drip oil and crap from underneath basically whilst they're idling and they're waiting to get the road. So on your layout, whether you've got colour light signals or you've got semaphore signals, if you take a little bit of paint, you can use either matte or gloss or even the spray paint. Just put a little bit in that sleeper area there in parallel relation to the signal, and then that gives the impression of the diesel's been standing there waiting for the signal to change and lost a little bit of gunk underneath as well, so that might be helpful as well. Okay, I've got something interesting to show you, which it took me over actually about a week and a half to actually put this all together, and then over the last couple of nights during some free time between picking up and putting down my little girl downstairs who's just over 2 months, finally managed to get in some modelling time. So this is what I've been up to as well, and I'm quite pleased with the results. This is the new point rodding kit from Wheels. And it is extremely fiddly in terms of the point rods themselves come as a complete unit, and you've got to cut them from the sprues, and they've got the wheels on there as well, which are moulded. However, the various arms and cranks have to be individually cut, as well as their associated bases, and you've got to put them together with a pair of tweezers. They are extremely fiddly, but a little bit of patience and just basically a little bit of time as well, you can achieve a half decent result. And what I've done here is weather mine with some rail match sleep grime, and then a quick brush over with some gloss Humbrol black paint in the areas where you'd expect to find grease, where there's movement in those rods as well, particularly in the cranks and on the wheels, and generally the appearance of maintenance there. So they come out of the box, as you can see, they go underneath the level crossing, and you've got two sets. One set of main rods does the points, and then the other set of 4 rods does the level crossing gates there as well. Obviously it's just a static display thing, it doesn't actually work, but it gives the impression of mechanics, which is what we want. So it continues underneath the level crossing, goes under the crossing that side, it comes out this side and corresponds to that set of points there, then it runs all the way along the platform to that set of points there. And if we come across, I'll bring the camera out to show you this as best I can. You've then got a set of rods to control those points there. Now I know they're not 110% perfect, but as long as they give the impression of point rods that are connected up to a set of points, it gives it something of an extra dimension in terms of how you look at things and how they work. And if you can mentally picture these rods working to and fro with the points, it gives an added interest. Even though they're static display, it makes it a bit more interesting and obviously realistic. And if you like fiddly things, or you're experienced with putting very minute things together, then this is a really good kit to buy. If you're not very good with these things, do not attempt it unless you can get some help from somebody else, or you want to have a go at yourself. To be honest with you, they're not that difficult to do. I say they're a bit fiddly. It's just in terms of putting the cranks together and the bases associated with them. Other than that, they are quite straightforward to do. What I've done with my point rodding, I've put the actual base of the rods themselves directly to the baseboard with a drop of super glue, and then you can assemble the rods in various runs closely together, i.e. you put single rods together to make, say, 4 like that with some Humbrol plastic cement. It's quite simple to do. The fiddliest part with this, like I mentioned before, is just the cranks and their bases to put together. Once you've got those sorted out, it's not too bad. They do go in place quite well. But anyway, I think it was quite realistic. So there we go. Now I know there's people out there watching this video on YouTube who have got point rodding on their layout or are experts in signalling and bits and pieces and say, oh, you've done it wrong, it's back to front, it doesn't look right. Well, that might be the case, but I'm quite pleased with the result. And it just reminds me actually from my days as a rest day relief signalman when I worked on West Anglia. One of the many boxes I worked in had this sort of style rodding for the points, and it was interesting to see this in model form now. Anyway, there we go. Some more ideas for you to share and enjoy, and I'll see you soon. Take care, hope you liked the video, and please do comment. Talk to you soon. God bless. Bye bye.